got? Mackerel galore. Look at that. Lots of little joeys. Fantastic. So coming up, we're heading out in the kayak in some glorious conditions to search for those bass on the light lures, and we've had some good success too. And we've had some success looking through our push nets as well. There. That was just one haul. And I'll need your help with IDing this ray. Still not quite sure what it is. So as June turns to July, tend to move away from the beach with the general beach fishing, back into the kayak and off with the lures for the bass. Go something a little bit weightier now. Even with that little push, managed to pick out. Look at that little place. Now what is that? Is that? I wonder if that is actually a little place. Lovely, beautiful little thing. Obviously we're not going to keep that. But there you go. We're starting to get some prawns, so I'll keep going in that area, see how many we can get. There's quite a lot of those swimmer crabs in this one. In the case of getting out the prawns and avoiding the crabs, they're quite aggressive. Little right. Certainly got some good prawns though. We've had 3 little walks around with that shrimp net, and I've pretty much got enough now for the rest of the summer to keep those alive. A couple of 100 prawns I think. Now, the ray being attacked by a crab. I thought it was a thornback ray, but looking back at this footage and speaking to a couple of friends, there's people saying it's maybe a blonde ray or even a small-eyed ray. I don't know. What do you reckon? Maybe have your say in the comments. On our way to fish Rye Harbour. I've got the prawns and the crabs. You're going to tell me I should have a life jacket on here. Little dab there, it's been dropped by a cormorant I think. But the water clarity wasn't too good here in Rye. I'm just trying to use the float to drift that prawn down. They do make a clicking sound, the prawn. Just using on that running float rig. Weighted float. The float itself's weighted and drift it down tide. But not all of the fishing adventures, of course, go according to plan. However, we didn't blank, but I did end up with this slippery little character. Actually, this was just on a little bit of old lugworm in the end. Is it better than a blank? Right, should we go and do a different sort of fishing now? Look at that water clarity, beautiful. It's absolutely flat calm, beautiful conditions. Clarity's really good. We'll see if we can get a mackerel or so. Oh, we're in already. Look at that, only just come off the beach. We got mackerel galore. Look at that. Lots of little joeys. Only problem with getting lots of mackerel on these little sabikis is you do have a bit of a tangle. Sometimes it's easier just to change. And then what we're going to do, I think we'll change down. We might even try a fly rod. If the mackerel are in and I'll catch a few on this next drop, we'll go down the single hooks. But I wouldn't mind some for bait and some to eat, so let's have a little bit of fun with the mackerel. They do have a size limit as well, these. Look at that. Well, we picked up that pocket of mackerel just as we left the beach. So if you were fishing on the beach, you'd have a load, but as soon as we come out, even about 30 metres, I've not hit any. You don't need a kayak today. Lure maybe. I'll tell you what, no, we use this. I'll just flick that up a little bit higher up over this reef. TC lure. Thanks Nathan from Slippy Limpets. It's a bass. This one's on you.
All stations, this is Dover Coast Guard. For Maritime Safety Information broadcast for the Broadsea aerial and vessels west of Dungeness. Listen VHF channel 62. This is Dover Coast Guard.
I'm going to go with something a little bit weightier now. There's not any bass breaking the surface, so this is as good as this is. We want something that's going to get down a little bit deeper. So I'm going to go with the beach walker wedge. A little bit of weight to it, that one should sink down nicely. Representative of a mackerel maybe. If not, we'll do a little bit of trolling in a minute. Or is it trolling? I don't know. Let's give that a go. We're coming past these really dangerous cliffs here. You can't actually get down to the bottom, and you can see where there's been massive cliff falls. I fished here sort of 8 or 9 years ago, saw a cliff fall, so never again. I've just heard a couple of boulders come down actually. I don't know whether it's because it's dry or it's been wet and then it's dry, but for whatever reason it's certainly a no-go space. You do see occasional people down here, but not for me. You see I've got that round the bow there. You should always make sure you're fully one side of the boat. So we're retrieving in the flash spot. Ridiculous name for a lure. It's quite shallow here, this reef, and this will sit 4 foot underneath. I'll just bring that up and show you. So we're fishing the flash boost, casting that out. So out in the kayak today, sabikis. That's basically to pick up mackerel if we can, and then we're going to be chopping and changing the lures here. This is my RTM tempo. I tend to keep like a handful of lures to hand. You can see there. It's in the hatch. And it is actually looking beautiful out there. That's really clear water. Really looking forward to it. Lovely. It's better than being at work, isn't it? Just going to try one of these pirate lures. And this is why I really like a soft lure like this. This is with an unweighted weedless hook. Just need it to be quite straight in the water, like a bait fish would be, really. Yeah, you can lift them up and drop them down, but not many fish act like that. I prefer it when there's a good flow of water and you can keep it horizontal in the water. Good little lures, these ones. But we're starting to struggle, haven't had a bass yet. You can always zigzag across a little reef. So the only problem with having the rods there, you don't know if you've got a fish on. Well, next up we're going to try this. A little bit tricky to get onto those lure clips, but these bucktails are more of an American lure really, but just something to get really deep down. 28 grams, fishing quite heavy now. You always run the risk of snagging these on the bottom, but the fish aren't on the surface, so let's give this a try. Drifting along, not even trolling this, just keeping it the same speed as a kayak. 40 foot behind me. Which is usually where we pick up the fish. Hey, we got a bass. I thought it was fighting a little bit too hard. We got a bass. Yeah. There's been some sploshes here, quite possibly mullet. And what I'm going to try and do is just put this TC lure up over the top. As I say, normally when you turn up and there's a little splash, it's the mullet sunning themselves. Well, later that evening the wind changed slightly, still nice and calm, but our luck also changed. It's strange how just one lure managed to end up with a few bass at last. Oh, a little one. There he is. Well, that's a bigger one. Pushing £5 now, £4.5. Happy with that. Check it out. Well, that's a bigger one. Pushing £5 now, £4.5. Happy with that. Check it out. So the lure is this Rapala Xrap in pink, and I'll leave a link for that underneath if you want to give it a go. Thanks for watching.